Hey, amazing people, I'm back. We are still in the Fifth Agreement. It's a really good book and a really long book. And to be honest, when things get really long, you can kind of be like, but it's good information. So we're going to keep with the good information. We're just going to recognize that this is a part of growing when we have to be comfortable with being in a space for longer than we want to be, but it's good for us. I'm Tracy Lene. Like, share, subscribe. We are still in the dream of the second intention. Here we go. You don't need to compete with anybody. You don't need to compare yourself with anybody. You just need to be what you are, to be loved, but real love. Not the kind of love that possesses you and makes you believe in love. Not the love that makes you become jealous or possessive of others and puts you directly in hell with all the tortures and punishments of hell. Not the love that makes you sacrifice in the name of love or makes you hurt yourself and hurt others in the name of love. The symbol of love has become so distorted. Real love is what you were born with. Real love is what you are. You were born with everything you need to make it. If you face your fears today, tomorrow you will see the dream of the second intention, the world of the warriors. But just because you win against fear today, it doesn't mean that you have won the war. No, the war isn't over. The war has just begun. You are still judging. You still have all those issues. You think it's done, and boom, your tyrant is back. Oh yes, again and again and again. And it's not the tyrant in you, it's the tyrant in everybody around you. And there are some that are worse than others, but even if you have been at war for many years, at least you can defend yourself. As a warrior, you may win the war or you may lose the war, but once you have awareness, you are no longer a victim. You are at war, and that's where the majority of people are right now until the war is over. In the dream of the second intention, you begin to create your personal heaven on earth. You begin to put your faith in agreements that support life, that add to your joy, to your happiness, to your freedom. But this is just one step of your evolution. There is much more than that. The moment is coming when you master awareness. I know you can hear my children, my daughter and my grandchildren, but we're just going to keep going. You master awareness, which means you master the truth. And by the way, you also master transformation. You master love, intent, or faith. Because at that time, you believe in yourself. I believe in myself so much now. I didn't always believe in myself. But in believing in myself, there are times when I have to say, Tracy, that's no longer for you. I, create. And I'm in a few different boutiques. And in one of them, I have to go ahead and move because it's not selling. So I'm putting more money into it than is coming out of it. And I've let it go on for a full year. And how I decided to stop today, because they offered me a lower booth rent. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. But then today, I was sitting, while the students were doing some work. And I started meditating. And I said, okay, I'm going to write on a piece of paper. Keep the space, let the space go now, July 1st. I wrote them out, tore the paper in half, balled it all up, mushed it around in my hand, put it in a bag, shook it all up, took it out, did all of this for like 5 minutes while I was meditating. And I said, whatever it is, this is what it is. And when I opened up the piece of paper, it said, let the space go. So I immediately contacted the people in charge and let them know I'm letting it go. The email came back, says she's out of the office for a few days, but okay, she'll get it when she gets back. The bottom line is I had to make a decision. I had to realize that I didn't win in that instance in terms of being lucrative in that space, but there are many other spaces for me. The moment is coming when you master awareness, which means you master the truth. And by the way, you also master transformation. You master love, intent, or faith, because at that time you believe in yourself. The result of this transformation is the creation of another reality that has the same frame as the first two dreams. But in this other reality, you no longer believe what you used to believe. You no longer believe the lies that you learned. You don't even believe the words that you learned. You have no doubt about what you experience, about what you are. The next dream, the dream of the third intention, is not that far away. But first you have to win the war in your head. And now you have the tools to do it. Then why not do it? Take the action, but don't try anymore. If you try, you will die trying. And I can assure you that millions of warriors have died trying. There are very few warriors who ever win the war that's happening in the human mind. But those who win the war by using their attention a second time, recreate their entire world. We are finally in the dream of the third intention. And let me see how many pages it is, because if it's it's a lot. So we'll start a little bit today. The dream of the third intention, the masters. The dream of the second intention ends when something very important happens in our lives, something called the last judgment. This is the very last time we judge either ourselves or anybody else. It's the day we accept ourselves just the way we are, and we accept everybody just the way they are. It is when the day of our last judgment comes, the war in our head is over, and the dream of the third intention begins. And it will be the end of our world, but also the beginning of our world, because we are no longer in the dream of the warriors. We are in the upper world, or what I call the dream of the masters. The masters are former warriors. They have won their personal war, and they are at peace. The dream of the masters is a dream of truth, a dream of respect, a dream of full love and joy. It is the playground of life. It is what we are meant to live, and only awareness can take us to that place. Many religions talk about the last judgment as if it's a punishment for sinners. They describe it as the day when God comes and judges us and destroys all the sinners. This isn't true. The last judgment is the card in the tarot, which is an ancient mythology from Egypt. When the mystery schools talk about the last judgment, we can hardly wait for that day, because it is the day when the dead come out of their grave, which means we resurrect. It is the day when we recover awareness and awaken from the dream of the underworld. And you know it's not going to be your personal body, because that body is going to be decomposed into the earth unless it happens right now while we're still alive. If you have physically died, you can't hear me. Maybe you can't. But a person who has physically died is not going to come back. That's just not happening. The body's decomposed. Their spirit, the energy keeps coming on. But the personality, that is Tracy, when I take that final breath, Tracy will cease to exist fully. But I got 4 babies, and they got me in them, so I get to live on. It is the day when we're no longer afraid to be alive again. This is when we come back to our real state, our divine self, where we feel a communion of love with everything in existence. The resurrection is a wonderful concept from mystery schools all around the world. Once you have the awareness that almost everything you learn through symbols is not the truth, the only thing left is just to enjoy life, and that's the resurrection. I'm in the space now where I am really enjoying life. I was Instacarting today, and I came across, I was walking, and this little girl said, "Are you an angel?" And I said, I looked at her mother. I said, "Did she just call me an angel?" And she looked at her mother. She said, "She's an angel." And then her mother looked at me and said, "She has a gift. She sees things like this." I felt really special. Although I've been told before I was an angel, I'm not going to get all into that right now, because sometimes it may give you too much information, but I'm an angel. What was it? When you give meaning to everything through symbols, your attention is dispersed on many things at once. When you take away the meaning from everything, you are in communion, and you become the whole thing to yourself. You become the only living being that exists. There is no difference between you and any star in the sky, you or any rock in the desert. Everything in existence is part of the living being, the only living being in existence. When you experience this truth, even for a moment, the whole structure of your belief system disappears, and you are in a wonderful dream of heaven. Today can be a day just like every other day, or today can be a day of celebration. The day of your resurrection, the day that you change your world by coming back to life. It can be the day for real that you come out of the grave of believing that you are what you think and become who you really are. I'm going to stop now. My grandson it's time for them to get a bath, and it's my day to do that. But thank you so very much for listening to me. It's only been 9 minutes, but I shall be back tomorrow. I'll be back every single day, Monday through Friday. As long as I got breath in my body, I'm just going to keep doing this because I really enjoy it. And we are in the 5th agreement. We'll be moving on to another book soon. Like, share, subscribe. Love you guys.